Hey, Jen.
Hi, Al.
Hey, Jen.
How's it going?
It's going. It's a going.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
We, it kind of feels like we didn't start the episode, so apologize for any of our squirreliness. I feel like I took 4 sips of this bubbler and I'm like flying off the walls.
Yeah, we're a little bit cracked out, as the kids might
Quack!
say. All right.
So this is how it's gonna go today.
Welcome to the episode, friends. This might be slightly unhinged, but
slightly. I do want to say this because I forget to do this sometimes, but hey, I'm Alex.
I'm Jen.
And this is the Call It Podcast, and it is brought to you by Poppin' Dot Fabrication, Design and Fabrication.
Woo, woo, woo.
Out of Duluth, Minnesota.
That was me cheering.
No, I received that well as cheering, so all good. We're gonna patch over to Jen. Over.
This is breaking news.
Is it a breaking disclaimer?
It is a breaking disclaimer.
Hit me with it.
Okay. All right, people, you know the drill. This is the disclaimer.
Sorry. Can't go.
This is the disclaimer. Sorry, I might be a little giggly in this episode. I've had a lot of caffeine today. But disclaimer, Alex and I are not Alex, I can't.
You better get your shit together because I am not editing this out.
Yes, you are.
No, I am not. No.
Please.
I'll wait patiently. And so will our listeners.
Okay, this is the disclaimer. Alex and I are not experts on the matter of a lot of things, but we have some opinions that we'd like to share with you guys. And if they don't align with yours, that's okay. No need to do anything dumb. No need to get mad at us. People have different opinions. You know what I mean?
Don't get mad at us because we're sensitive girlies.
I will cry.
You will make us cry, and you'll have to live with that.
Yeah. No, you're going to make 2 blonde girls cry? Imagine that.
The people probably go out of their way to make blonde girls cry. I feel like that's a thing, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so in a way, I feel like I have to give another cool saying. Like, if your opinion differs from us, it's like some people like to wear sandals and socks, and some people just like to go sockless, and that's cool. Those are different. That's the point I'm trying to get across.
Alex and I were talking about doing mani-pedis before this episode started. What is your obsession with feet tonight?
I don't have an obsession with feet. I'm just comfortable with them.
Okay.
So Jen clearly wears socks and sandals because she hates people around her feet. So.
All right, Alex. I'm feeling targeted.
No. Not at all. Not at all. Socks and sandals are so cool.
All
Anyways.
Right, moving on. What's this episode about today?
It's a hot topic. One would say burning hot.
Burning hot?
Burning.
What do you mean by this?
We're talking about burnout.
Dun, dun, dun.
Wow.
The scary burnout word. The B word.
The B word. The other one.
Yeah.
Should I come in with a little, what is burnout?
Yeah.
For the people who live under a rock.
For the people who are just perfect all the time.
And never experience burnout.
Or
this
stress.
is what it's like.
Yeah.
If you've never felt stress, alien energy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So burnout is a state of complete mental, physical, and emotional exhaustion. If that ain't the truth. If you're experiencing burnout, you may notice it is difficult to engage in activities you would normally find meaningful or fun or exciting. Maybe you just feel a little flatlined about the topic, but you may no longer care about the things that are important to you or experience an increasing sense of hopelessness. And that, I feel like, is when it's kind of taken control of you instead of you being able to manage it.
Yeah, I would agree.
So I'm going to let Jen go because she's got some really good points, and then I'll go. We'll obviously pitter patter in between with some commentary, but
as we do.
But I feel like this is going to be a really good episode because Jen was even talking about it last week, and I was saying it too, that it seemed very relevant in the time to talk about
Oh my
imposter
God.
syndrome, to talk about difficult clients, and now to talk about burnout. It's like we're living it.
Yeah. Last week, I literally texted Alex on like Wednesday or Thursday and was like, dude, do we have an episode about burnout on our list? Because I'm feeling it right now. And she's like, oh, I'm not sure. Let me look. This girl goes and looks at the schedule, and it was literally the next episode. Like the one we're doing right now.
Yeah, you
ladies,
can't
gentlemen.
tell me that wasn't meant to be.
I know.
So now, because we've kind of manifested these really negative topics, the next episode is going to be winning $1 million, having no stress at all, being the most beautiful woman in the world.
We already are that.
Well, yeah, but like continually, sometimes I don't wake up feeling
The
that
upkeep.
way. The upkeep. So if that's how this works, is every time we talk about a topic, it becomes our reality. We're going to start talking about making a lot of money, being gorgeous, flawless, beautiful womans.
So true, Pookie.
Take it away, girl.
All right. Well, this is Jen. Hi, guys. I am going to talk about my personal experience with burnout, which is more on the creative side of things. I feel like we say this every week, but just because Alex and I are both in the creative field doesn't mean that this doesn't apply to you. If you're a teacher, a pharmacist, a doctor, whatever your position might be, if you're like a school janitor or something and you're listening, everyone fucking experiences
If you're a
burnout.
doctor or a teacher specifically and you have not experienced burnout, you guys are, nothing will take you down.
Yeah.
Nothing. Not even a fire.
I agree. Any kind of burnout sucks in general, right? It's kind of just this overarching feeling of, okay, I'm stuck. I feel like I don't have a good mental capacity to do work. For me personally, I feel like it takes away from my social life and social battery as well. To me, burnout is complete mental exhaustion, no energy to do anything, and for me, this might not apply to anybody else, that usually comes with a lot of frustration because I'm in a creative field and I have no mental capacity to be creative whatsoever. It's like, how the fuck do I do my job after that? It's so hard to just sit there and stare at my computer and be like, okay, what are the simple, like, I don't know if mundane is a good word, but just like the less important, less stressful things that I could be doing in this moment, and I don't even have the capacity to do that.
I do feel like in creative jobs, the burnout that you can feel is slightly heightened and even more frustrating because I think that burnout specifically targets that creative part of your brain and it stunts it and it just doesn't allow you. So because we have to creatively problem solve, sometimes people can, I mean, I can't say this for, I always use accountants as an example. I don't know why, but I just feel like that if there were to be an opposite of what I'm doing, a scientist or an accountant or a mathematician, whatever it may be, I just feel like your mental blockage would just be more like, I don't want to do this work, not how can I do this work, because you guys have a formula to follow. For us, we're just like, oh my God, so they need X, Y, and Z, but they need it to be done in a way that's never been done before, and it's already been done 1,000 different ways, so now how do we approach it?
And add like a 1 week deadline on top of that.
Yeah.
Timelines are great. I love them because without them I would get nothing done. But also when burnout hits, it's just like the worst possible time.
It just seems like everything's crumble. It seems like your timeline has somehow magically shortened.
I agree. For some reason, again, I was on some philosophical shit in my notes when I was writing stuff for the episode. But here's a really good analogy. I feel like we have been getting increasingly better at these, whether it's socks and sandals or what I'm about to talk about now. But the best way I could describe the way I personally face burnout and mental exhaustion is sometimes it's a slow buildup of snow on top of the mountain, and it adds and adds and adds until there's too much weight. And then all of a sudden, boom! You're hit with an avalanche.
Oh, no.
Everything crumbles and all the resources and energy I was harboring away for other things go with it. So it's my will to be creative. It's everything, right? Everything just freaking crumbles down, and I have no energy to work, to cook myself dinner. Sometimes I just have to like literally lay on the floor in my apartment on my back and listen to music. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We'll get into coping mechanisms later.
Might I add, that analogy was so much better than socks and sandals.
Thank you.
That kind of gave me goosebumps.
As a feet hater, I would agree. But it gave you goosebumps?
Do you really want to come on here and call yourself a feet hater? Because that might spark some drama.
No, I don't. But I don't need to be talking about them.
Okay, then let's move on. But yeah, it did give me good goosebumps too, because sometimes there are bad ones, but they were all good.
I was thinking about, I'm a skier, for those who don't know. I love skiing. And I was thinking about, for some reason, this one time my family went skiing in Colorado and we saw like the avalanche trainers with dogs up on the mountain. And it just like makes me think about burnout because there's like snow adding on top of the mountain, okay?
Yeah.
And then one day it's going to crumble and people like the ski patrol or these search dogs are here to help.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So ski patrol could be a therapist.
In some weird world, they might be.
I'll have to say that to my therapist on Thursday. Be like,
You're
hey,
my ski patrol.
Ski patrol girl.
Tell her Jen said.
I will.
Yeah.
I will.
So, yeah. Anyways, analogies aside, sometimes burnout just makes me crumble down and feel like I'm absolutely nothing. Everything is piled on top of me. I'm buried in the snow from this avalanche, okay? And when that happens, personally, I feel like I have no social battery and it makes me feel extremely anxious, more anxious than I already feel. I have some sort of anxiety, not diagnosed, but yeah, it just makes me feel so like trapped in my body because I can't get out of it. And you just have to work through it, right?
Trapped is such a good word for that.
I agree. I talk about this sometimes too. And like being alone in your thoughts is really hard sometimes, especially for me. I'm no stranger to that. But when burnout gets added on top of that, it's like, okay, shit. I have all of these responsibilities, but also like no social life. But at the same time, I have to sit here and be with myself and figure a way through it. Yeah. My note directly after that, excuse me, says, fuck that, I'm good enough. And so many people experience burnout. And I think that's really funny that I wrote that in my notes.
It is. I'm following along Jen's notes too. It's really funny because I am picturing how she's going to say it as I'm reading it. And I like that they're lining up so far. I figured that like her cadence and the way that she approaches the sentence is exactly what it's just perfect. It's
Well,
so good.
you.
Absolutely. But yeah, but fuck that.
Yeah, fuck that.
You are good enough.
Thank you. You were too.
Thank you.
Yeah. We just had a moment.
That was really sweet.
Yeah, okay. So where I see burnout coming from is A, trying to tackle too many things at once, but also B, I feel like especially in Western society, this is very prevalent. I can't speak for any other country or any other person that faces burnout really, but I feel like especially in the United States, there's such a big pressure to constantly be the best, do the best, take on every single responsibility that you can and be the highest achiever in all of them.
Oh my God. And sometimes that's not even enough.
No.
Because what I would say the US, that's probably what I'll say is the United States. They have these expectations or these almost prescriptions of if you work your ass off and you do X, Y, and Z and you're doing everything you possibly can, you will get success like these people. And then those are the influencers we see. Those are the very successful business people that have lots of money and lots of freedom to go travel and to do whatever. But it's not true. No. And that's the part that's frustrating is because we're constantly chasing after this unachievable thing. We don't even know what we're chasing half the time.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a really important question to ask yourself and to ask other people if somebody's talking about maybe not feeling good enough or feeling burnt out, or like they just keep spinning their wheels, is, okay, so do you feel like you're not reaching a certain level of success? Like, do you feel like you're just not getting anywhere?
Right.
Well, what is success to you? Is it based off of what other people have told you to view success as? Or is that actually what you want?
Right. Are you pushing yourself to do all of that, or is society telling you to do all of that?
Well, right. But also, are you pushing yourself to have a success that is actually not going to make you happy at the end of the day?
Mm-hmm.
So, yes, Western society, the United States, they're doing something to our mental health and our capacity to view work and to view how we go about living our lives in such a unique way that I don't think the rest of the world could ever understand unless they were living it every day, because you get so wrapped up into it.
I would agree. I also think, again, I can't speak for societies or cultures outside of the United States, but I also think, I'm going to retract that a little bit, because this definitely goes outside of the US. The immense pressure that we put on women in any society, it's fucking bullshit. Sorry for my language, but that is exactly what it is. You're telling me on all of the other things that I just described earlier, all of this pressure to do my work perfectly, be the best coworker, be the best mom someday, okay? You also want me to go home and cook all of these immense dinners and just make sure everyone is happy at the same time. That's going to cause even more burnout. You know what I mean? I just think the way that society views women as a whole adds so much extra pressure onto everything. I don't subscribe to the, oh, women have to cook and clean and just be the mother of the household, which I think there is some truth to that, but I also think it's fucking bullshit. Everyone is able to pick up on those responsibilities.
Yeah, I think it's great when women want to do that. If that's because for me, I love cooking. I don't want to say that I love cleaning, but I do like taking pride in my space and making sure that I feel like it's clean for me. That's best case scenario, because a lot of people do kind of live under that prescription of, well, this is how it's always been told. I would say Midwestern. I swear I sound like a broken record to the people in my life, because sometimes when this comes up, I always say, like, women, especially in the Midwest, we're kind of taught to follow this certain timeline of, okay, hopefully you have a high school sweetheart and you get married and have kids right away. But if you don't, you still have to follow that timeline of, well, maybe you'll meet them in college, and then after college, you'll get engaged, and then you'll have a job and you'll have kids right away.
Yeah.
And this is before you turn 28, 30.
Right.
It's crazy. And also, you talk about the rest of the world. I think about how maybe men and women, it's just really overwhelming to try and break out of societal norms, because it's not what you truly want to do to your core. So now you're trying to break out of maybe these cultural traditions that don't allow either sex to be who they want to be. And that's a lot too.
Yeah, I agree. And I'm not trying to say that every single person listening to this, or whoever is out there, subscribes to, oh, the women has to do this and this and that.
True.
Because I know that there are situations where that doesn't happen, or sometimes there's not even a woman in the scenario. You know what I mean? And people pick up those roles. So anybody in that role is also going to feel burnout. You don't necessarily have to be a woman, but I'm speaking from me being
historically
a woman.
Speaking.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. Sorry about that rant. That was not planned, but it is something that I'm thinking about. Yeah. Okay. So Western society constantly pushes us to be the best, do the most, and never complain about it. We just have to sit there, do what we're told, and comply. I think burnout is my body saying, Jen, you're my best pal in the entire world. You're overworking yourself. And then I say, nah, fuck that. And then my body goes, all right, girl, watch this. And then I just shut down. I like literally make myself sit there and do absolutely nothing, because my body cannot take any more.
Yeah.
Like sometimes even sitting in my own thoughts is hard, and I just have to force myself to go to bed, or like
Absolutely.
step away and walk down my hallway.
It is funny that internal monologue is so true.
It's so accurate.
Where you push yourself past the point of where you know that you should have stopped in the first place, and then your body just shuts down everything for you, and then she's just like, oh, well, you wanted to keep working and you shouldn't have. Well, now you don't have enough energy to go to the bathroom. Have fun with that.
Literally.
Have fun with that. Have fun going to
know.
bed at 7 p.m. when you had plans all weekend. Good luck.
This is making me think of a Boy Genius reference, but it's relevant. I promise. I'm not just
I
in
just
love
told
with
Jen,
them.
I said, I think that every episode will always mention one of the two, if not
both.
Boy Genius or Taylor Swift. Guaranteed. Sorry,
That's who I am.
No, it's okay.
Be who you are for your pride.
Was that Taylor Swift too?
No. That's an old TikTok sound. But there's an interview with Boy Genius, and Julian Baker says something like, it's like that feeling when you're going to bed and you have to pee, but like you don't want to get up to go pee. This is so random. I'm so sorry.
No, I love it.
But it's like, I'm too tired to get up and pee, but also like I can't go to bed if I don't pee. To me, that's like similar to burnout. Like I don't have the energy to do my work, but at the same time, if I don't do my work, it's going to cause burnout on another day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That was really random. I'm sorry.
I think that was such a perfect thought to pass through.
Well, thanks.
Yeah, that was good. Julian knows what she's doing.
I know. It's clear.
Yeah,
that she
it
does.
is. It's pretty crystal clear. Yeah.
And on that note, we're going to go to, how do I deal with burnout?
So how do we deal with burnout,
So-
Jennifer?
Ooh. My dad called me that after he watched the episode where you called me that.
That's cool. Everybody
know.
hop on the Jennifer train.
I thought it was funny.
I also like calling her Yenny from the block. That's pretty rare, but
Yenny
I
from
do.
the block.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have done that a couple times. I think it's important to note that not everyone is going to benefit from what I'm going to list that I do to deal with burnout, but it might help someone. There's going to be a lot of different things that help others, but
Yeah, or it might just spark
right.
an alternative.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially like during my workday, this one is extremely prevalent. I just take a break. My boss and my boss above her as well are very confident in letting us know that we're able to take breaks. Like your body needs it whenever, just go do it, which I love. It is such a healthy work environment to be in when others around you see that fit. So I love that. Sometimes it's a matter of stepping away for like 10, 15, 20 minutes. And stepping away for X amount of time is better than working half-assed for an extended amount of time,
Oh my God. Yeah.
especially in the creative field.
If you can feel yourself not being able to put 100% in, I wonder why that is. Take a break. We always say, you know, if you're trying to make a design decision or an edit on something and it's just not kind of coming to that point you needed to, where you're like, yeah, this feels right.
Yeah.
We've always been taught, at least I was in college, they're like, take a step back, you know, get a fresh perspective, come back to it even 10 minutes later. And like, maybe the answer will just come to you and be like, oh, I need to fix this. I need to edit that certain
Right.
part. Mhm.
You can't force being creative. So it's
No.
especially important to just take that
And
second for
if
yourself.
you do, it's very noticeable.
Oh, God, yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
So true. I'm glad you said that. Funny enough that you brought up Taylor Swift
Oh,
earlier.
did anybody just remember 4 minutes ago when I said that maybe both of them would be?
Yeah.
mentioned?
So in my notes, I have Boy Genius and Taylor Swift listed. So things that help me, right? Putting on some of my favorite music. I mentioned earlier that sometimes I will literally lay flat on my back and just sit there and listen to music. I'm so serious. I'll lay flat on my back with my phone on my chest, the speakers pointed like at my face, and just sit there for a little bit.
Like
and
a
it helps.
coming of age teenage movie.
Yes.
Where they're having an existential crisis at 16 years old on their bedroom floor. Mm-hmm.
Me.
It's okay. We've all been there. It's just now I'm experiencing it still like 12 years later.
Yeah. Oops. I wrote in my note like specific ones that really help me, in case you guys are curious.
We're curious, Jen.
I know.
Tell us.
I'm really good at oversharing. I love oversharing.
I love it. Yeah.
Taylor Swift, duh, but specifically the Folklore Long Pond Studio Sessions album. And I guess it's not an album, but she did a recording at this studio in upstate New York, and it's just amazing. Anyways, Boy Genius, also the record, love. I have Death Cab for Cutie written down.
Hell yeah.
They specifically have an acoustic version of one of their albums. I didn't write down what it's called, but the acoustic version is just like calm, chill, goody vibes, and it makes me happy.
I will follow you into the dark.
I know, right?
Oh,
that's a good one.
It's in one of my favorite movies that no one's ever heard of. It's called The Invisible.
Oh, we should watch that sometime.
So good. Yeah, it's really, we'll watch it.
I also have Noah Khan written down. And then ... need I go on? I could go on forever, but I won't.
If you want to hear more, Jen's starting a music podcast, so.
Yeah. My separate music podcast, Jen's Jams.
That was good.
I know.
Do you have a playlist named that?
No, but I have a story on Snapchat. That is my music story. Oh. If anyone
Jen's
wants
Jams.
to be added to that, just let me know. I should make a playlist, though. I'll make a playlist.
Okay, cool. We'll add it to the podcast.
Slay. I love that. Another important thing, excuse me, I'm still getting over my illness from last week. Another thing that helps is doing something nice for myself. Making a good dinner, a self-care night. Alex and I will do a veg night every once in a while, which is just like sitting there doing
I call those rot
nothing.
nights.
I love it.
Yeah. Rot away.
Absolutely.
Rot.
You know what? I will.
Okay.
And then I wrote, watching too many episodes of your favorite show. And in parentheses, Arrested Development. That helps me.
I binged watched SpongeBob all day.
Period.
While I was working.
As you should.
Yeah.
That's the brain rot.
It is. I was looking at the TV, taking a break from my laptop, and I was just letting the drool just fall right out of my mouth.
I'm picturing that in my head, and I find that really funny. Another thing that I did this weekend to help with burnout was I took myself to the beach, which is really nice. It's one of my favorite places, and it was a really nice reset.
Let's go to the beach. Let's go get
away.
away.
Right? Say
what they gonna say. Have a drink. Click. Found the Bud Light.
Bed like me is hard to come by. All right.
Beautiful.
That was something.
Hot.
Yeah.
Good.
The last two that I have are reminding myself that I'm overworking myself, and you're going to get tired of this someday. You got to just try as hard as you can to break this cycle. Sometimes it's just not going to be easy or simple to find that answer of how do I break this, but I think it'll come eventually. I'm not in a place where I can say that I've solved my burnout, but the things that I've listed definitely help.
You're constantly growing and you're changing too. So what you need to get out of those ruts, they'll always be ever changing.
Right. Absolutely. And especially when you're really passionate about things, it's hard to kind of step back and slow down for a minute, but you can't go 100 miles per hour forever without running on empty. You know what I mean?
Not even in a fucking Tesla.
No.
Mm-mm. If my body started acting like a Tesla,
autopilot.
Yeah, dangerous.
Yeah.
I'm diesel. If I had to say, if I were a car, I would be diesel, I think.
Yeah.
Expensive, but worth it. Worth the investment. Is that a good analogy?
You guys should see me right now. My jaw literally just dropped. I was sitting there like, oh my God. So
she
true.
is a diesel.
She is expensive and worth it.
So Jen can't argue the facts, so just believe me, okay?
No.
That was so good, Jen. Thank you for sharing.
I feel like I talked for forever.
No, but I also was like butting in every other sentence. Okay. So, okay. Well, I'm in a really tough spot right now. As I said earlier at the beginning of this episode, it's kind of crazy how relatable these are even to us. I mean, we picked out the topics, but not because we were maybe living them in the time being.
Right.
But am experiencing burnout right now in a couple of different ways, and it is like debilitating. It's kind of stressful. I don't know if anybody else out there feels that way when you're trying to explain your specific type of burnout to a friend, family, somebody, where you just need to get it off of your chest, but you can't even find the words.
Yeah.
That's kind of where I'm at right now. So I'm happy. It's almost like the podcast is like, I'm coming to church, or like I'm coming to therapy.
Take
like
me to church.
Yeah.
Like a dog.
That was my first record that I ever bought for myself.
I love that.
Yeah, it's a good one. So I just kind of want to put that out there as feelers. Whatever I'm saying right now, it's because I'm genuinely experiencing it really hard.
Yeah.
And I know that Jen was feeling it very heightened last week. I'm
yeah.
sure she's still feeling it this week a little bit.
I'm a little better, but
it's Monday, so
I'm always
it's going to
stressed
happen.
out.
So I do want to kind of touch on because right now I'm feeling all three of these. They're all very different, but again, they go hand in hand. I'm feeling physical burnout, mental and emotional burnout. I'm just at my wit's end. Right now as a graphic designer, I'm finding it really hard to work on my laptop for a certain amount of time because I have some carpal tunnel tendon issues going on.
Yeah.
So that's really frustrating. I think that then spills over into the mental and emotional. I think with mental and emotional burnout too, like I was saying, you just can't find the words. So it's like you can't even help yourself. You don't even know how to get even some adjectives out there so the people that you're talking to can be like, kind of fill in the blanks for you.
Right.
Oh, are you feeling this? It's just like there's nothing that comes out. So with the physical, mental, and emotional burnout, I feel like people experience this professionally and personally. Professionally, obviously, I feel like is very common because you're spending most of your lifetime in a work position, in a career. I mean, it is wild the amount of hours that a human will work in their lifetime.
No kidding.
And it's expected. People who have found the cheat code to not having to physically be at work while still making money, I am so envious of you. I am so jealous. I love what I do. But I wish that my financial security did not have to stem from a creative outlet.
Yeah.
But speaking of professional burnout, in every other position that I've had before this job, I have experienced like maximum professional burnout in a career setting within a year of every position I've been in since I graduated college.
That's wild.
Wild. Sometimes it was 6 months, sometimes it was 8. A lot of the factors, I will take responsibility that the outside factors that I didn't have control of, I didn't handle them well. So even though like I felt like things were happening to me, I decided to take them even more personal than I should have, and I let that affect me. So yes, burnout is kind of this uncontrollable beast in some way, but the whole purpose is to be able to control the outcome a little bit more and maybe control how it feels, because you're the only person that you have that control over. So you need to be able to kind of manage that a little bit better. Right. But I will say, now that I'm experiencing physical burnout, it's like, I was just telling Jen, my brain feels great. I feel more creative than ever, but I'm running into those physical obstacles where I'm not able to work as much, which I feel like is almost implying mental burnout. It's putting me in a headspace where I'm thinking I can't do this, which is kind of weird because it's almost like a facade. Like that's not actually the root problem. But personal burnout too can also leak into professional, but with personal, it could be friendships that are just really draining. You could be having an ongoing issue with really important family members in your life, or even if you see other people that mean a lot to you going through other things, that can be really tough as well.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Just keeping both of those in mind. I feel like sometimes people don't talk about the differences between all of those, but moving forward, I think another thing I want to revisit is when you're struggling to find the words on how you feel, that is a symptom of burnout. And it's a good indicator if you haven't really put the pieces together, being like, wow, yeah, I'm feeling this.
It's time to take a step back.
Time to take a step back. Some other symptoms of burnout, if you're not really sure, maybe you really haven't, you've experienced it, but you don't really know to put the word on it.
Right. It's like imposter syndrome, how we were talking about that. people are probably going to experience it, but do you necessarily know that there's a title or a name for it?
Exactly. Yeah, you could just, I think I talk about this with my dad, who's the other co-owner of our business, is we always talk about how sometimes he just has a hard time putting words to his feelings, which is totally normal.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of people could agree to that. But if you're getting really tired in the middle of the day, if you're just tired after an hour of waking up, there's obviously a lot of things that you can do that would affect that.
Right.
But if it's a mental, physical, all over kind of tired where you just feel defeated already, then that's also a really good sign that you're doing a little too much. Take a step back. You'll be okay. Don't worry about it. But you also need to be able to have the strength to physically pull yourself back, because like Jen was talking about earlier, if you are not able to make yourself do it, your body will do it for you.
Right.
Your body will literally be like, okay, so you want to wake up at 6 a.m. and you're going to go to the gym. You're going to make all these meals. You're going to make sure that everybody's taken care of. Well, guess what? Now you have to be in bed by 6 p.m.
Right.
12 hours later.
Mm-hmm.
So take care of yourself is a really big takeaway from this. And I'll talk about that in a couple of minutes here. But when you specifically can't feel like you can get words out, your brain is at max capacity.
Max capacity.
Max capacity. There is no more room for new information. And you actually have trouble now, like regurgitating and reaching those details that you need to get out.
Mm-hmm.
Today I was on a call with a client and I felt really bad because my burnout was like reaching me at the highest it's been in the last week. And I meant to show her, I meant to present and share my screen to her. So I started my presentation while she was still looking at me on the camera. I wasn't sharing my screen. And she was like, she was so sweet about it. She was like, I don't know what you're talking about because I can't see it here. And I felt so bad that I emailed her and I was like, thanks for like being patient as I found my footing. Like I'm just off my game. And that is okay to say. I just want people to know, because I was kind of even struggling, like, oh, should I have let her know that I was struggling? But I think that's a nice thing in a professional setting where it gives you some humanness.
Yeah, I agree.
Because it's okay. We don't always need to, there's obviously a fine line and a balance of not unloading your shit onto your client, because that's inappropriate, right? But if you can say it in a nice, quick way, just being like, hey, I'm not trying to avoid maybe how awkward that was or that it wasn't as smooth. I just want you to know that I'm aware that that wasn't my best,
right?
But I'm going to get back to it. When you're not able to find those words, your brain, it's not your fault. Like, but you do have the power now to notice it and now make a change. So this is how I'm going to try and help myself. So if any of you find this relatable or helpful, please take any advice that you want and try and apply it.
Yeah.
The first one is going outside.
Ooh.
A nice big gulp of fresh air.
Love.
Mm-hmm.
This is a random thought, but it kind of goes with this. One time you told me that someone along the way told you that the first thing you should do when you wake up in the morning is go outside. And I've been doing that.
Yeah.
Like, not every day, but I do that as much as I remember to. And there's something about waking up in the morning, going outside, getting a little chilly.
Get a little chilly. I mean? Yeah.
That just wakes you up.
So I'm happy you brought that up, because I was going to say that I can't tell you who it was. I swear it was on a podcast of some sort, but they said that not only does it jumpstart your circadian rhythm or however that's called, so it helps ground you for the day, but it also boosts your dopamine levels.
Slay.
And so what they're saying is, don't wait an hour, wake up, go outside, come back in, finish getting ready for the day.
Yeah.
Like fresh air, if that can be the first thing in the morning, just helps your mood so much.
I love that.
And I'm sure if it's a mood booster, it's going to just spill into other things. But yeah, getting outside or working by a window and getting some sunlight.
Yep. I agree.
I can't recommend taking like vitamin D supplements because I don't know what each of you would need. But if you live in the Midwest like us, we're in Minnesota. Duluth can be a very, very foggy, gloomy day.
God,
I would say that it's probably like the ugly stepsister of the West Coast. because it's kind of rainy, kind of foggy, but we do get more sun than them.
I'm just sitting here cracking up about that. That was a good one, Al.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Don't know if that's true, but people will start saying it now.
It's gonna catch on, guys.
It's gonna catch on.
Fetch.
We're gonna make fetch happen.
Yeah.
Jen touched on this earlier, and it seems so simple in nature, but take a break. Stand up. It's actually so bad for people who work at desk jobs all day to sit there all day and only take a break every 4 hours. I once had an employer who wanted to be as efficient as possible, which I can totally admire and recommend, but we were kind of not scolded, but like there was definitely a feeling in the air if you took too many breaks, kind of like you're wasting money, you're wasting time.
Company dime.
Right, exactly. The company dime, which is, in my opinion, being a small business owner and having that luxury and the privilege, I am so aware of that it is a privilege to be able to work for yourself, because you do get the flexibility and the freedom to kind of make your own hours. But with that, obviously, you don't want to set yourself up for failure and take too much time off. But I truly believe that no human is actually meant to actively work 8 hours a day.
I would agree with that.
So why are the work days 8 hours? 9 plus an hour lunch typically, but some people, like this old place that I worked for, everybody worked through their lunch. And there was the disclaimer of, oh, don't work through your lunch, but everybody else did. So what, you're going to be the only one who doesn't?
Right.
And that's your you time.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you're not struggling with burnout in a physical way or with your professional way, maybe you've got some stuff going on at home that you weren't able to drop at the door when you came in. So you just need that time to separate yourself and think about it and then come back to work so you can do the best that you can.
Right.
So taking a break, however that looks, it is healthy. It is helpful. If an employer of yours, if you're working for corporate America and you have a boss who is very strict with the way that your day is spent, stand up for yourself.
Agreed.
Or talk to HR.
Mm-hmm.
Or if neither of those are options and you kind of feel stuck and they're putting you in a box, get out of there.
I agree.
It is not worth it.
Mm-hmm.
Hot take, no job is worth that. I don't care how much money you're making. I truly think that, for myself at least, unless I were making $1 billion a day. Okay, let me rephrase this. If I was making $1 billion a day, I would probably do anything.
Yeah.
But if I had to work every day like I am now, and maybe I was making like 6 figures, but I still had to deal with the stress and everything, and I wasn't enjoying the job, not worth it.
I agree with you.
Such a waste of time. You have other goals besides work. I don't think that anybody was ever bred with the idea or the notion to actually live to work. And that's how America is. That's how a lot of the world is. And it's so disappointing, because if we were given a little bit more freedom outside of work, I bet you we would probably want to work a little bit more, but in things that we're passionate about.
Yeah. I agree with you completely on all of that. I don't know why I just stumbled so hard there, but I agree. I think it's awesome that people are so career driven, but it's also so important to take time for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care if you're like, oh, I just don't have the time for X, Y, and Z. Okay, figure out a way to make it.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you need to like bend over backwards or like secretly take time off from your job. That's not what I'm saying at all. But it is also so important to just take a moment for yourself.
But isn't that a red flag about your job if you feel like you have to hide the time that you're taking off?
Yeah, I agree. I don't know why
I'm glad you said that, because it just proves the point where if you're in a bad position, get the heck out of there.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
I agree.
What are you doing, baby girl?
Baby girl.
Baby girl. Another thing that somebody should do, and me, is talk to somebody about it.
Yeah.
I think in our first episode when we were talking about imposter syndrome, is have a good group of people for professional or personal reasons and talk to them about it if you trust them. If you feel like it's a source that's just going to like add to the stress, not really solve any issues with you, or they're not really like listening.
Yeah.
Just, I'm not saying take it on yourself, but maybe that's where you would find a therapist. Like for me, it's been really healthy for my outside, like my personal relationships, to have an outside neutral party to kind of talk through my things with, because it's made me a better communicator in the way where when I'm feeling overwhelmed, now I can talk to the people who I care about most and tell them in a more intelligent, relatable way what I'm going through, when before I couldn't find the words, so they didn't know how to help me.
Right.
So I think that is really big, is if you can have a really good cheer squad behind you, making sure that they're supporting you. No type of burnout would ever knock you down completely to ground zero if you have people around you that are rooting for you. Change it up.
Ooh.
Switch it up, girl.
Switch it up.
There is no reason for you to be doing the same thing, and that's with the task, maybe like the order that you're doing things in, the event itself. If there's something that's bringing specific stressors to your life and it's over and over and over again, then just get out of it. There, you have so much control, and this is where it's like, okay, let's take the power back here. I think burnout kind of makes you feel small.
Oh yeah.
It's overwhelming. It's there to kind of like just overpower you. You need to be strong enough to notice that and to just say, no, I will not be taking this anymore. I'm actually not going to allow this feeling to dictate how my day or my week or my year is going to go. Change it up. Totally fine. If it is your job and it seems like there is no way out, ask yourself if the job is really worth it. And if it isn't, make the change. We just talked about that. I cannot repeat this enough. If you guys are not happy with what you're doing, it's going to be scary. You're going to feel a lot of fear, but on the other side of that is going to be a lot of positive outcomes.
Right.
For sure. My last thing to help yourself is so simple, but it's laughing. Like sitting here with Jen and being able to like laugh and giggle about stuff has helped my stress immensely. If you can get a good belly laugh when you're stressed out or when you're feeling overwhelmed or even sad, you guys, that is like nature's medicine. It is so good.
Yeah.
People would ask me what I care about having in a relationship, and it's just being able to laugh with somebody.
Yeah.
That means more to me than anything, because it can heal me from the craziest ailments, whether that be like mental, physical, like whatever barriers I feel like are in front of me.
Yeah.
If I can laugh with somebody, and it's such a good way to connect to other things.
I agree. I love laughing, and
Me
I love
too.
being able to make people laugh.
Yeah.
When people think I'm funny, that is like the highest compliment to me, because Alex and I talk about this a lot. Sometimes I just think I'm fucking annoying. So when people just like laugh at me or laugh with me, I love it.
I agree. Sometimes when I feel like I haven't made a lot of people laugh throughout the day, I'm going to take that on myself and really think about what I did wrong. Because not saying that I'm the funniest person ever, but I have been told a time or two that I do make people giggle a little bit. And when that doesn't happen in a day, I almost should have a physical drawing board being like, if I did this way, and there it is. That's the punchline that I forgot. God. Yeah. Not actually. I just don't have it. Listen to all this shit that's on my brain. You think I have enough time to come up with a comedy skit?
Maybe. I have joked with people in the past that I have an Excel sheet running in my brain and I just keep track of everything there.
That's nightmare fuel for me. Excel?
Well, first of all, fucking Excel. God.
I won't touch that software. I just learned how to, like, if you want to repeat the same thing in another column before or like after it, that you just drag down the box and it will copy and paste.
I have used it once when I was forced to use it, and I didn't know that.
Yeah. Well, that's like the simplest thing you can do with it.
You're
besides
just spreading truth. You're just
I'm
informing.
spitting on the mic today.
Yeah. Like, seriously though, I do have jokes with people that I keep a spreadsheet of everything in my brain, and they'll be like, Oh, you put that one in the spreadsheet? Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
You know what? It may not seem important right now, but it will come back around at some point in time.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of our episode. What I want to end with, and I'm sure Jen feels this way, is this is normal.
Oh, yeah.
Everything we talk about on these episodes is because I felt it, Jen's felt it. We'll actually never talk about something we've never experienced ourselves unless it's requested by somebody.
Right. I can't speak for other people's experiences, but I can speak for my own, and I do want to share. And actually, before this, I ran into Ulta, and I was talking to some of my coworkers about the podcast because they asked me about it. And one of my managers, Nick, was like, okay, so tell me more about your podcast. Like, what is it all about? And I was like, well, we cover a lot of things, but mainly, like, it's from our perspective, whether that's women in business, today's burnout, like, whatever we want, honestly. But I'm thinking about the whole women thing again. It doesn't necessarily have to be a women-based thing or a female-based thing. Anybody can experience all of these things. Just because Alex and I are both women doesn't mean that we're just speaking towards the women here.
Absolutely.
Men, people who are non-binary, whatever you identify as, you can absolutely feel all of these things. It is so extremely valid too. And I hope that through listening to Alex and I just get shit off of our brain,
rambling
honestly.
Half the time.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
But I hope you know you're not alone in experiencing these things. Sometimes it can feel like it. I've definitely felt that way too, but
we're here for you.
Exactly. I was going to say it's nice to have a friend, and Alex and I are friends, but you're our friends too.
Yeah. Y'all are. Y'all are friends with us.
You're my best friend.
You're my best friend. Okay, we need to leave before things get too weird. So.
No.
All right. Signing off. I'm Alex.
This is Jen Kettner leaving the news station.
Oh, juicy.
I don't know why the fuck I just said that.
Good night, everybody.
Good night. Oh, wait. I have something.
What?
Have fun for the Super Bowl this weekend.
Yeah.
I hope you're doing something fun. I have no plans. I hope to find plans.
Somebody asked Jen out for a Sunday football game date.
I hate football, but I just want to, like, I don't know, hang out.
Yeah, you want a potluck.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, bye. Bye.